Happy Valentine's Day. So today is Valentine's Day, and I am by myself. Yep, but that's all right. um, Currently, I'm sitting here in this wonderful parking lot where there's a Lido's Pizza and a whole bunch of trucks and a whole bunch of people watching the arguments commit. The Valentine's Day arguments. Yep, I get a kick out of those. They're really amusing. What do we have? So, okay. So, I had to see how long I got on this thing. So, today I was going to tell a Valentine's Day story. Now, it kind of covers two things. Um, Number one, I was going to tell a story about my first RV. Now, I've already told that story of the first RV, but there's multiple stories dealing with my first RV. And one story I was going to tell today was about me and my son's mom meeting for the first time. This was a long time ago. This was a long time ago. And I had my first RV at the time, and I also had a few other cars. But what the story is, so when I met my son's mother, um, we didn't. So we met up at a mall back in the day during the time of payphones. I called her from a payphone so we could meet up. Um, there's a lot that went into that whole meeting up thing because I had never been to where she lived before that, and she lived a good little ways away. And so, and I'll get to the RV part in a second, but so when I initially had plans to meet up with her and hang out and maybe go get something to eat and see a movie or something, I had no intention on driving the RV. That was not in my plans. That had nothing to do with nothing. Well, at least not at the moment. No, I had a Oldsmobile. It was an Oldsmobile and it was a lowrider, and I was going to try that. Um, but the tags were expired, and going to this place called Howard County, you didn't want to go to Howard County on expired tags. So at the time, my grandmother was alive, and I was like, hey, can I use the Cadillac to go out to see, this girl I met? And, she was like, well, the Cadillac, it's got issues. And I was like, yeah. Then I asked my grandfather if I could take the Lincoln. Funny story about the Lincoln. Now that my grandfather's passed, I can say this now. The Lincoln was not exactly a legal car. The Lincoln never really had a real VIN number. We just kind of had a title and a car and put them together. And that's what my grandfather did. So, I got to thinking about it, and I said, well, no, maybe I shouldn't take the Lincoln out there. It might not be a good idea if I get pulled over, because if they check the VIN number, I'm screwed. So, I went and I said, well, damn, the only thing I got that's legal is the Glastron. Now, for some of y'all are saying to yourselves, well, Glastron, I thought that was a boat. It is a boat. The Glastron Boat Company. But for 2 years in 1969 and 1970, they decided that they were going to make RVs. And I had one. They're extremely rare. They're very rare, and I had one. So now I don't have any pictures on me of the Glastron, but I'm thinking I'm going to put one in the thumbnail when I edit this. Not really editing, just adding a thumbnail. That way y'all can see what it looked like. But to give you a general idea of what this thing looked like, it looked like it would eat you, and it had a face like this. Now, if my son is watching this, I'm sure he's laughing by now. But so I went all the way out there in this thing. It looked like it was from the 70s, and it looked like it would eat you. Looked like it would talk and then eat you. It looked like it would say something like, "I'm going to eat you," and then your life would be over. And then, you gotta excuse me because I'm trying to get comfortable. And then so I met up with her and I called her from the payphone and we went and ate and we had a good time. And then I was like, "Well, what you about to do now?" She was like, "Well, I'm going to a party. And you can go if you want to go, And so I was thinking to myself, maybe I'll go. So I went. But let's go back a step. Before we get to the party part, we were still at the restaurant that we ate at. And we were walking out and I said, well, we can go, but I don't know if you're gonna want to ride in what I got. I mean, can you guess what I have? I have the biggest thing in the parking lot. And she looks around and she's like, "You do?" I was like, "Yeah." She looked and she's like, "No, I don't know." I was like, so I have that big old motorhome over there. Now, at the time, she probably thought I was strange. There's probably a lot of things that was going through her mind. There's one specific thing that I know is going through her mind, but we'll get to that in a second. So she was like, "All right, well, I'll ride," so she gets in the thing and we go to her mother's house first. She changes her clothes and she's all pretty and cute. And we go from there, we go to her friend's house that's having a birthday party. Now, when we pulled up there, I parked the Glastron in a regular parking space. It was a Class A RV and it could fit in a regular parking space. Well, I was just really good at driving it, and so I could put it in anywhere I wanted to, really. But it wasn't no bigger than my 68 Cadillac. So that's kind of how I gauge everything, gas mileage wise, length wise. If it's bigger than my 68 Cadillac or drinks more gas than my 68 Cadillac, I probably don't want to deal with it. But at the time, that was my route of measurement for things. And so I just parked in a regular parking space. And we go to the party, and we have a good time. Now, while we're at the party, she's talking to her friend, and she's like, "Well, what kind of self-respecting black man drives an RV? Especially one of them RVs like that?" And it was funny. And like me and her friends, we all got along, and we was having a good time, and I was drunk, and so we go to leave. It's, I don't know, 1 or 2, 3 in the morning, something like that. And party's done, and we go to leave. We go to get in the thing to go to back to her house, and she was like, so basically everybody's coming outside. We all talking and bullshitting, and everybody's going to their car. And we go into this RV. All of her friends were like, "Wait a minute, that's yours?" Yeah. "Oh man, that thing is cool." And she was just like, "Oh Lord." And it wasn't my first choice to drive the RV, but I'm glad I drove it because all her friends thought it was cool. And I mean, really thought it was just like, "Oh God, you got a bathroom with a shower. Oh Lord, you can live in this thing." And I was thinking to myself, "Oh, if you only knew." And it was loud. I had pipes on it. It was quite amusing. And I'm going to say that if I wouldn't have drove that Glastron RV to that party that night, that me and my son's mother would have not have made it as far as we did. I think that RV, just that night, just the hilariousness of that night, because I'm kind of quiet and I'm not socially, how can I say this? I'm not like, not socially awkward, but I'm just not a social person. But having that RV made it so that I was comfortable to be social. And she laughs about that night to this day. Just that whole situation. The Glastron situation. And from that point forth, I just drove the Glastron up everywhere. It was my trademark, and it was quite amusing because I would park it in the damnedest place. I'd park it in little tiny spaces, and we would do all kind of stuff in the Glastron. That's what we would do. Yep. If it wasn't for that old Glastron, I can honestly say that me and my son's mother would not have made it the 10 years that we were together. We wouldn't have made it past probably the first few times we hung out because of who I am. I mean, I'm not really, I don't know. But yeah. And that's my Glastron story about me and my son's mom and how we met and our first date, I guess, in the Glastron. But with that being said, happy Valentine's Day to everybody. And what else? Rest in peace, my cousin Mo. His birthday was yesterday. It's amazing that I told that story so fast because normally it takes me forever to tell that story. And stay safe out there. Use condoms. It's Valentine's Day weekend. Some of y'all is burning. Call it what it is. Only because I care. And what else? Some of y'all ain't burning. Some of y'all is with somebody who's burning. Some of y'all done rented a Valentine's who is burning. So don't rent any, well, protect yourself if you rented a Valentine's before you go genital jousting or playing putt-putt penis. I know I bring that up. I brought that up probably for the last 3 days, but it's kind of important. It's almost as important as telling somebody, no, it is as important as telling somebody you love them today, because making sure that you tell somebody you love them is not a bad thing. And if I haven't told you Happy Valentine's Day personally, don't take it personal. It's probably because my phone is acting crazy, but Happy Valentine's Day personally. And what else? I think that's about it. Make sure you tell somebody you love them today. I don't really have anything else to say to that. I have a lot of good stories about that Glastron. A lot of good stories. I don't know. There's a lot of stories about that one. Let's see, do I have enough time? Yeah, so my Glastron, it was a Class A motorhome, and I used to have a little dog. His name was Buddy. Buddy would sit on the dashboard of the motorhome, and people would wonder if he was real. And because he would sit there still, and he wouldn't move. Like if you left him in there and went into a store or something, he would sit there and wait for you to come back. That was his sitting and watching spot, the dashboard, because it was flat and it went all the way across. And the little kids were like, "Look at the little stuffed dog. Yeah, it's a little stuffed dog in the window. Ha ha ha." And Buddy would do this. Ruff! And then just be still. And the kids were like, and every time I make a left or right turn, he'd slide across the dashboard and slide back across the dash, and he'd just stay there. That was his sitting spot. And that was very special for me. I took Buddy everywhere. Buddy was one of my favorite dogs. Well, all of my dogs was my favorite. But Buddy, he was a little small dog. He was a miniature pinscher. And I didn't go nowhere without him. If he couldn't go, I wouldn't go, basically. And anytime I get another car, or get another van or whatever, he'd be right there with me. And he'd sit in the passenger seat, and that's how we rode. And when I went over somebody's house or something, he'd be right there with me. When me and Furball met, Buddy was there most of the time, and he'd get in the bed and go to sleep with his head on the pillow and snore. It was anyway. So yeah, that's just a little short story, I guess. Old Buddy puppy. And yeah. But anyway, I am about to go get something to eat. Make sure you tell them you love them. If you like the videos, like, subscribe. If you don't like the videos, like and subscribe anyway, because sooner or later, I'm going to say something that piques your interest. And if I don't, well, I will. Just know that I will. It's a matter of time. Say or do something crazy or something. And yeah, Fat Man, I know you watching. Shout out to Fat Man. Fat Man is my son. I will talk to y'all later.